Tom Brady defies coach's orders to get Rob Gronkowski, the Gronk, well, yeah, Gronk, $1 million. So that's pretty nice, right? So that's what friends are for. Rob Gronk had the chance to unlock multiple incentives during Sunday's regular season finale against the Panthers, worth $500,000 each. The Buccaneers tight end needed 85 more receiving yards and 7 catches to hit a $1 million jackpot, according to For the Win. Tom Brady didn't want to get out of the game until he got Rob Gronk one more reception for a 500K incentive. So, fortunately for Gronk, his longtime teammate and friend Tom Brady wasn't calling it a day until he got paid. With 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Brady was seen picking up his helmet on the Tampa Bay sideline, appearing to yell at the coaching staff before re entering the game. Despite a 14-point lead, the quarterback then connected with Gronkowski, who caught the 55th pass needed to unlock his bonus, and then Brady then exited the game in favor of backup Blaine Gabbert. So Gronkowski also he also needed the 750 receiving yards this year for an additional incentive, and he hit that mark earlier in the game, bringing his total to 802 yards for the year. So the four-time Super Bowl champ could have unlocked an additional $500,000 bonus had he logged 9 touchdowns this season, according to Spotrac, but finished 2021 with 6. So the Buccaneers closed out their regular season with a 13-4 record and will face the Eagles next Sunday in a wild card round of the NFC playoffs. That's pretty nice, though. And here's the thing, right? Like, I believe if this is the Gronk that I'm thinking about, he's already doing like really well with money because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, for those that end up watching football, I'm not really watching football that much, but if I'm correct, I believe the Gronk basically only lives off of his sponsorships and commercial deals. Like, I believe like anything dealing with his like NFL career, he just banks and like invests that money, right? And I believe it's like 30 million plus, 50 million plus dollars that he hasn't really ever touched. So, winning something like this isn't necessarily really going to change his life at all. I mean, the guy's like a multi millionaire, very frugal with his money in comparison to pretty much any other NFL player. And it's kind of something to like really think about, right? Because now at this point, like you're just kind of like playing the game of making more money. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it probably gets to like a nice place in life where you're basically playing or you're basically working as hard as you can because you want to do that, right? Because that excites you and you don't necessarily have to work anymore because you are financially set. And I believe Gronk is actually 100% financially set because I'm pretty certain he's not stupid with his money. I'm pretty certain that he's very frugal. And if he is, if I'm correct on that, because I do believe I remember reading a bunch of stories about that, props to the Gronk. Props to Tom Brady to being able to have the skill set to be able to grant Gronk basically this extra jackpot, right? But props to Gronk for managing his money to the situation of not necessarily even needing Brady to do something like this for him, right? Because again, $1 million isn't really going to change his life. But hey, if your buddy, if you got a buddy working with you basically, right, working alongside with you, and he's got the chance to make you a little bit more extra money, and he does, That's pretty cool. I'd probably take the buddy out and like splurge on the buddy for a little bit, right? So I like if I was Gronk, I would probably take out Brady to some place really nice that he likes as like a thank you. Just because of like, hey, being a buddy to this guy who basically used his skill set to just directly get me more immediate money is a pretty cool thing to see and a pretty nice thing to actually happen. So props to Tom Brady, props to the Gronk. But this is also the importance of managing your money correctly. Because, for example, say this wasn't the Gronk. Say this was someone who was like in desperate need of this jackpot, right? They'll end up doing like super crazy dangerous things to try to get this threshold. They'll probably do some shady stuff, right? They'll probably rub their teammates the wrong way. They might end up resenting Tom Brady, and Tom Brady may not be in a situation where, like, you know what? You're kind of two faced, you're kind of shady. You know what? Even though I could help, get you this bonus, I'm not because you feel entitled to it, right? So it gets into that situation where, like, if this was someone who was not respectful to Tom Brady in a sense or backstabbed him, kind of like, for example, someone that he was very generous to that basically disrespected the whole team and also Tom Brady, aka Antonio Brown, right? Which, is a very recent thing. Let's say, for example, instead of the Gronk, Antonio Brown needed this bonus, right? Was on the very like verge of like getting it. Would Tom Brady still be willing to help him out after the way Antonio Brown treated Tom Brady? Probably not. Even though Tom Brady seems like such a decent guy to his teammates that he probably would just to help out his teammates. But let's say it's not Tom Brady. Let's say that it's somebody else, right? And you have someone like Antonio Brown basically disrespecting the quarterback, the team, not really caring about anyone. Would you end up getting a situation where they actually end up helping them to get that extra money? Probably not. So there's a lot of things to like learn from this situation, but pretty much in the most simplistic way, just be a decent human being, and if your buddy can, they probably will end up helping you out in some way. So that's one way to look at it. If you want to learn how to get a debt, go to 40inbox.com.